Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 1st of August 2023. I'm here with remote viewer and psychic medium Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
Better than Richard Hart, probably.
Yeah, so Richard Hart was on the list to do today. Now, in the view of what's happened with the SEC, he's definitely getting done first. We're also going to probe the SEC. We're also going to probe everything to do with what's happened because the public needs to know, and I certainly want to know. So, right, Liz, can you get a connection with Liz, with Richard Hart, please?
Yes, I have him.
How's he doing today?
So.
What does he think about what the SEC have just done to him and to Hex and the whole pulse chain ecosystem?
What do you think? Well, he's not happy about it. He says it sucks, is what he said.
Was he expecting this? Did he know this was going to happen?
No, he did. Did you know that this was going to happen? No, he did not.
So this was not part of any of his planning or marketing or anything like that?
Is this part of your planning? No, absolutely not.
Right, so he had no idea that the SEC were coming after him.
There was some talk about it before, but he just thought it was talk. He didn't know that it was going to amount to this.
Why does he think they've come after him now?
Because they want to take him down. He's too powerful.
Why do they want to take him down? Why do they believe he's too powerful?
Why do they want to take you down? Because of the new blockchain.
You mean pulse chain?
Pulse chain, yes. The new pulse chain. It's another avenue for people to trade on. His own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions. He believes that it's dangerous to the government, it's dangerous to the SEC. He believes that this threatens their value as an important department. He just thinks it just threatens them because it's another way for people to shift over to crypto.
Right, because obviously when he launched Hex, 3 or 4 years ago, the SEC didn't come after him then. But now with pulse chain, you think does he believe that's the tipping point? That's what's made them go after him?
Do you believe it's because of pulse chain? And because of Hex. He says it's because of everything now.
But he is he's maintained a very high profile flamboyant lifestyle, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, he put that down as like that's part of the marketing, right? To appeal. I mean, maybe it wasn't the best idea, but to appeal to people to buy into Hex.
Right. In other words, look at me, I can buy a Rolex, you can too if you buy Hex.
If you play your cards right, he says, yes.
Right. Okay. What is his plan? Does he have plans to fight this?
Yes, he's fighting it now, but it's going to cost him a lot of money.
Well, he has a lot of money, doesn't he?
Yes, he has billions.
So, hopefully, has he got a team of lawyers already lined up, or is that something he's looking into now?
You have a team of lawyers. Yes, he does already have lawyers.
Is this a winnable case from him, or does he worry that the SEC will prevail?
He believes he can win. He says, what proof do they have?
Well, it fails the Howey test for security, so I'm not sure how and why. Do you think that does he think that the timing of this has anything to do with the upcoming film about him and Hex that's due to be released on the 4th and 5th of August?
Do you believe the timing of this has anything to do with the upcoming film about you? Of course it does.
Right. So they're trying to portray him in a bad light in advance of the film?
Absolutely. That's what he says.
Well, that's what I think as well. Yeah.
They don't want people going into crypto.
No. What does he think about the outcome of the XRP Ripple case, where the SEC lost and it was deemed that XRP Ripple is not a security?
What do you think? Good for Ripple, he says, but he thinks this is going to be an ongoing thing now, that they're just going to always launch cases against all of these coins, trying to take them down.
Right. Well, obviously, if the SEC, they must be a private agency, because they have to sue for money. They don't issue fines. Government issue fines, you see. But the fact they have to sue, they will keep any money that they get, you see.
That is so, okay. I don't understand how a private agency is allowed to do that, but whatever.
Well, no, they're authorized by the US government. They are authorized by it, but the fact that they have to sue means that it's not quite the government. Government issue fines, and the SEC can't issue a fine. It has to sue to get money. If it could issue a fine, it would have just issued a fine. Richard Hart, Hex, you owe 2 billion or whatever in fine, pay. Yeah. So, it looks like they're trying to take down cryptos, in my opinion. And then, of course, they're using the SEC as the vehicle to do it. The SEC must have lost a lot of money on the Ripple case because of all the legal fees. It's been going on for a long time. Does he believe that this will drag on for a long time?
Yes. Years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect his plans, his future plans for Hex and Pulse Chain? Does it affect them?
Well, he just says it's tanked. Like it's going to be very hard to build it up again with all of these accusations against him.
But the problem is, does he know where the accusations have come from? Because a lot of the Hex community, they've made quite a bit of money. I mean, he's personally made God knows how many people millionaires throughout with Hex. So, who's alleging this is a scam? I know that the SEC have written it down, but does he believe, and we'll ask the SEC this, but does he believe that, people complained about it, or did they just pick on him?
What do you think? Do you know where the complaint originated? Yes. Okay, where did that originate? He believes that it originated on, now this is what he's saying, on Twitter.
Really?
A group of people accused him of selling off a load of Hex, and they took screenshots of the wallet.
Yeah.
And then they reported it to the SEC. A bunch of people got together and reported it.
Right. Was there any truth in what they reported?
Was there any truth in what they reported? I mean, some of it was true, but some of it isn't true.
Okay. Is there any truth in the indictment? I mean, apart from names and places and dates, I mean, you know, they're alleging that I mean, according to the SEC, this is an unlicensed security. Most people just don't care. They really don't. It doesn't make any difference, you know? And so the crux of their case is he's been selling unlicensed securities. Now that will have to be determined. But, you know, most people, nobody I know or anybody that's gone into Hex has bought Hex under duress. They bought it because they want. Some people no doubt have bought at the top and sold at the bottom, but they've done that with every single crypto. You know, some people bought Bitcoin at 60,000 and sold out at 15, you know.
But don't they do that with stocks and shares too?
Absolutely, they do it with everything. So is there any truth in, okay, I have to be careful how to word this because there are truths in it, you know, the names and things like that, but are the accusations against him and Hex, do they have any basis in fact and law, does he believe?
Basis in law? Most probably.
Right.
It would have to have a basis in law to bring the action about in the first place.
Not necessarily. They can just do it just to really mess somebody up. Look what's happened to the price of Hex, Pulse, everything. They've all tanked.
Okay.
So,
But you
no,
have to have a legal basis to file a suit. You can't just sue someone.
Well, there's an alleged, look, these are white collar things. Most people just don't understand. You know, this is not I robbed the shop or I did this, I drove my car too fast. This is very, very complicated stuff for most people. You know, they're alleging it's a security. Well, first they have to prove it's a security. And I don't think they can.
It won't be proven that it's a security.
It won't. Well, then they're not going to win the case then, are they?
No, they can't. It doesn't meet the guidelines, the criteria for security.
Yeah, I mean, he was very clear about this, even when he did the sacrifice phase and everything else. You know, he knew all about the rules and what, you know, he made sure that he did not, you know, do that, as far as I'm aware anyway.
What's the sacrifice phase?
So there was a sacrifice that you could do to give money away, basically with no expectation of any return. There was two sacrifices actually. One was for Senza, I think, a charity, where you donated money to a charity, and then there was another one where you could sacrifice coins with the no expectation of any return. So that was stated clearly. You basically sent money off as a political statement. So he said it was. Now, maybe he was being clever and just trying to get around it. Maybe he was. But if you send something with no expectation of any return, then it cannot be a security. And this is the whole argument for the pulse chain thing, you know. So we'll have to probably look into this a little bit more. Can we just hold him there a minute?
Yeah.
See, one of the funny things about the Stock Exchange Commission and all that lot, if they were to win this case, nobody would get any money back. None of the people who bought Hex would get any money. They'd keep it all for themselves. So although they're supposed to be, you know, helping people and doing all of that lot, the suit, if it goes their way, enriches them, nobody else. Anyway, let's probe them, please. Let's hold Richard there and let's get the SEC.
Okay, I have the SEC.
Why have you laid suit against Richard Hart and Hex?
Because we don't like him.
Oh dear, isn't that the truth? Okay, why don't you like him?
They think he's a crook.
Okay. That's slightly different. Okay. Just because you don't like someone doesn't make them a crook, and just because someone's a crook, you can like them. So what is the key driver here? Because they think he's a crook, or because they just don't like him? Because the first answer was we don't like him.
Sorry, what was the question?
Well, I'm trying to find the real reason they're going after him, because they think he's a crook. That's one thing, or because they just don't like him.
Yes, they think he's a crook.
Okay. Why has it taken them 4 years to come after Richard Hart? Hex was launched in 2019.
Excuse me. Why is it taking 4 years to come after Richard Hart? Were you interested in him 4 years ago? I mean, they weren't really interested in him back then.
Why are they interested in him now? Why? When did they suddenly become interested in him
then? Because of the movie, because of the complaints that they had when a lot of people lost money in Hex when there was a new, I guess, as you described it, almost like a stock split. A lot of people complained about that.
So a lot of people complained because they bought something and the price went down. So they complained to the SEC.
Yes, but it was about they believe that he stole the money. That's why it went down.
Okay, hold them there. Ask him, did he steal the money?
Did you? Well, because there's been quite a few allegations of stealing. So, have you stolen any money? Have you? Okay, so have you stolen any money from the investors in Hex and Pulse Chain? And have you stolen any money? Yes, he has.
Okay. Why did he do that?
Why did you do that? To reinvest it back into the business. Did you reinvest it into yourself or into Hex or Pulse Chain? Or he seems like he took some of the money and he's reinvested it back in. Do you have liquidity? No, there's no liquidity there. I'm finding that there isn't a lot of liquidity. I'm probably not asking the right questions.
No, well, it's very difficult because he's the founder. He created, I know he used software developers, but he created the tokens. And so ultimately, when this started, he owned all of them,
Mm-hmm.
And so when they were first sold, you're essentially buying them from him, I believe. I don't know quite how the ecosystem works.
Well, from what I understand is that you have a bounty, what's called a bounty. And the developers get a bounty, so they get some of the new coin that's created. And then the founders or the owners of the coin also get a bounty. It's when and then of course there's the coin that people can buy, the public can buy. Now, when the coin is released, the owners can choose to sell some of that bounty, or they can hold on to it, or they can, it's up to them what they want to do, because they would have spent a lot of money just creating the coin. Thousands,
Absolutely.
and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Of course.
Right? So this is the point where they can try to recoup some of their money. When the coin goes live, when people can buy it, of course, they can buy it pre-sale, but it's really when the coin goes live, that's when the bounties are given to the founders and the developers. So how do you know that, Liz? Well, I'll tell you, because one of the owners of Bitcoin Black was, in communication with me on a regular basis. And he was then flogging Bitcoin Black on various websites and various forums, I suppose, knowing that Bitcoin Black would probably never launch. And,
Right.
and the thing is, this guy is still floating around out there. He and denies all involvement in being one of the owners of Bitcoin Black, but happily sold some Bitcoin Black to a lot of people. Well, that was part of his bounty. And when the coin went live, knowing that Bitcoin Black never did go live because the developers ran off with all the money and they screwed these owners into the ground, even though they had put thousands and thousands of dollars up, each one of them, a lot of money. And the developers kept asking for more and more and more money. They're throwing money at the developers, and the developers are not finishing the job. So he then, to recoup some of the money that he spent on trying to create the coin, he was flogging Bitcoin Black tokens on not on my pages, but on somebody else's pages. And a lot of people were buying them because he was trying to recoup the money he had spent, knowing that Bitcoin Black was never going to go live. And I called him out on it. I called him out. I let people know who he was.
Right.
And of course, then he denied it, and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so that's how I know how this stuff works, because founders of coins have also come through for readings. And it takes a lot of money to build these coins.
Right.
Digibyte is a dead coin. I have said this over and over and over again. And the reason Digibyte is a dead coin is because they flogged it as it was going to be this next, all things singing, dancing currency coin that was going to get approval from whatever it is people need approval from. And I can't remember off the top of my head. It's early, please forgive me. And they needed something ridiculous, like $40 million to bring the coin up to approval. $40 million. And they needed to go and raise the money from charitable resources and people that just want to Digibyte to survive. Well, nobody was going to pay that kind of money. Nobody. So then again, on this same forum, this same page, because she was friends with Digibyte, she's flogging Digibyte. Why? Because they're trying to raise money for this compliance. It was never going to happen, and it still hasn't happened. And yet that coin is still flogged. So I think,
yeah, but I don't know if Hex, I don't think Hex was done the same way as these two at all. And at the end of the day,
we
sorry?
can ask him.
Okay, ask him.
Did you have a bounty with regards to Hex? Yes, he had billions of Hex. Okay. And did you sell all your Hex? No, he still has billions of Hex. Did you sell a large portion of Hex? Yes, he did. Why did you sell that? To recoup some of the losses.
Okay, in the indictment, one of the things that it says is between December 19 and November 20, Hex via the public Hex wallet accepted more than 2.3 million ETH from investors worth more than 678 million at the time. He then issued HEX tokens to them, and it appears, so it's alleged, that 94 to 97% of these ETH deposits were just recycling transactions directed by Hart or other insiders, which enabled Hart or other insiders to gain control of a large number of HEX tokens. Is that true?
Okay, so let's break that question down.
Right. Well, let's just take that there were 2.3 million ETH and it was worth that. We're not really arguing about that. What it's alleged is that about 95% of these deposits were just recycling transactions directed by Hart or other insiders.
What do you mean by recycling transactions?
Well, it's not what I mean. It's what it's written here in the suit, that they're basically, buying and selling their own coin. They're basically goosing the situation. They're trying to, we keep trading in and out, but it's just me and you, if you see what I mean. And then to the outside world, it looks like there's huge liquidity and volume. So in other words, was he creating a false impression of significant trading volume and an organic demand for HEX?
Okay. Were you recycling? I don't even understand what I'm asking, but were you recycling?
Well, okay, ask him this. Was he, in the beginning of HEX for the first year, creating a false impression of significant trading volume and organic demand?
Were you creating a false impression of a significant trading volume and demand? Or did you do that? He had to.
Right. So he goosed the market in the beginning. I don't know if that's illegal or not. I have no idea, but
is that illegal? He doesn't believe it is.
Right. I don't know. Don't forget, these are not, if this was a registered security, that probably would be illegal, but it's not a registered security, so therefore it probably is not illegal. The whole case to the SEC, it's the same with Ripple. The whole case relies on the fact that they are alleging that all these products are securities and therefore not registered. He was selling unlicensed, unregistered securities. But if they're not registered securities, then none of this stuff, the whole case, it's the same with Ripple, just falls flat, falls down. That's no merit.
It won't qualify as a security.
They won't.
No.
Right.
No.
But surely they know this. Haven't they learned their lesson?
Qualify as a security?
Sorry, who are you asking, me or Richard or who?
I'm just saying in general. Does Bitcoin, does the ETH, does any of these qualify as a security?
No.
Right. They're coming after him out of principle, right? They've received complaints. It's going to be extremely expensive, extremely costly for him on his side, and they're just trying to strong arm the crypto market. Now, yeah. I can understand that. Okay, let's be fair. You don't want people just coming into the crypto space, ripping a load of people off, and they're trying to prove a point. But they've just lost their case with the XRP. So there's something more to this than just trying to say that he's trading securities. I don't know what this is, but there's more to this.
Well, one of the things is, as the first answer came out of the SEC, they don't like him. So, in the same way as they took down Reggie Middleton with the Veritasium coin, they didn't like him. So if they don't like someone, they come after you, don't they? And of course, he has been, very high profile.
But he's saying to me, he had to be high profile. He
Oh, I know. I
wanted
understand.
to
I
show.
understand. I understand it, but don't forget the world of their finance is very conservative, and they don't like people, doing all the things he's done. I mean, I understand he took a decision why he did that. Whether it was the right one, time will tell. I don't know. A lot of people see all the bling and all the things that he bought and say, I want to be like him, a bit like pop stars and rock stars. And,
Yeah,
they want to, they want to copy their people, Um,
that's exactly what he believed with his marketing strategy.
yeah. So the Howey test, by the way, is a party invests money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profiteering based on the efforts of the third party. So, it's the ex SEC 3 years ago did exactly the same with Ripple Labs over XRP. Said it was a security. It took them 3 years to prove that it wasn't. Most people knew it wasn't. So I think there was some political reasons why that case got dragged out. Right, let's just go back to the SEC a minute. Hold him there. Go back to the SEC.
Okay.
No, actually, let's not do that. Let's hold on. Wait. Hold on. Sorry. How do I do this?
Here, I'll pause it.
Okay, holding the SEC and Richard Hart in abeyance for a minute. I'd like you to have a look at Matt. I believe his name's Gould or something.
Okay.
I believe this guy is the lawyer whose name is on the lawsuit for the SEC. He certainly has done lawsuits for the SEC before, so.
Yes, that's correct.
He is the man, is he?
Yes.
Okay. On what basis, why does he believe that Hex is a security as it fails the Howey test?
This is a security. Do you believe that Hex is a security? No, they know Hex is not a security.
Okay, but that's the basis of their whole claim, that it is, and Richard Hart is selling unlicensed and unregistered securities.
Well, that's what they have to go with.
Right. So you remember earlier on, Liz, where you said there has to be a legal basis for them to do it. And I said, no, they don't. They could just literally do this out of spite and malice. So if he knowingly is put a lawsuit in that they know, I mean,
That's what I mean. Something deeper is going on here.
Right. So why did he do it? I mean, I know he's paid to do it. I get that. He's not them. He's the order taker, not the order maker. But why did he do it?
Because they want to take down Richard Hart.
Okay. Who is they?
Who is they? The SEC.
Okay. And he's going along with this because?
Well, that's what he's told to do.
Okay, so he's just paid. He's a paid assassin, if you like. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody's going to bring a lawsuit around and they're going to pay him to do it, whether it's valid or not, you still do it. You find points to argue in favor of the lawsuit. Do you have any points? He doesn't have any points at the moment, but they do want to take Richard Hart down. And I'm saying, but why? Why is there such a need to take this man down? Because he's greedy.
Okay.
What do you mean by because he's greedy? They believe he stole money, but this is the only way they can take him down is to file that because what he's done is not a criminal offense.
Right.
Okay.
No.
That's what he's saying to me. Criminally, it's null and void.
Okay, that's why the police and the FBI are not involved. Okay, right.
But Yeah, so but the only way they can try to take him down is by deeming this a security. Do you believe it's going to be deemed a security? No, but we've come across this before. The punishment is in the process.
Yeah. Well, I
They're
would
going
be.
to try to destroy him through this lawsuit, through this bad publicity, and they know the power that they have is to take someone down just based upon the lawsuit alone. It scares people. Listen,
Yeah.
when you have, okay, so I'm in this like dividend investing group. I quite like dividends. Most of you know that. 3M was a powerful dividend stock at one time. Everybody was talking 3M, 3M, 3M all the time. And 3M gets a lawsuit slapped on them, and then their stock tanks, right? Now, I believe that 3M lost the lawsuit. I don't know the particulars, and I don't even know the outcome, but it creates mass panic and fear, and everybody starts selling off. They know this. SEC knows this. This is exactly what they want.
Okay, I understand that, but I mean,
this win the case. They will
right,
not
but
win the case.
no, okay, but this is, if I was Richard Hart, I'd be suing these people for harassment, fraudulent malpractice, or whatever the legals are. I don't know, but they should go after Richard Hart should go after the SEC. The SEC are putting a lawsuit out which they know is not true. They know that Hex is not a security. The SEC have told us, this lawyer guy has told us, and yet he's still doing it. I don't know if the Bar Association need to look into him for doing things that he knows is not right. I mean, this is just wrong. They're hounding an American entrepreneur. My God, he's American, for God's sake. He's not Chinese or something like that. He's an American. I mean, what they're doing is absolutely wrong. They're hounding him because they don't like him. They don't this, they don't that. I mean,
Well, they got a lot of complaints, and the complaints
all right, but they've got a lot of complaints by the sounds of it, by people who bought at one price and lost money because the price went down. And nobody wants to take responsibility for anything they do anymore. So it must be Richard Hart's fault. Yeah. So I bought at 50 cents and I sold at 5 cents. Blame Richard Hart. Who can I complain to? Well, the SEC. How many people that bought Hex in the beginning that have become multimillionaires? How many people have complained to Richard Hart, to the SEC about that? Richard Hart, who I don't know, made me buy. No, he didn't. I wanted to buy some Hex back in November, December 19. Now I've made millions out of it. Oh, that's so bad. How many people are on board and complained about that? It's only people that have lost money. Nobody is willing to. This is the problem. What happens if I buy Tesla shares, right? And I buy 200 and they go down to 50? Who can I complain to? Can't complain to Elon Musk. So what do? Make a complaint to the SEC. I mean, it's the same thing. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. They are filing a suit which they know has no basis. That sounds like massive government overreach and harassment to me. Jesus Christ. I mean,
yeah, but most people that they don't care about that. All they care about is their money, and there's going to be a sell-off. The SEC know this. That's why they're doing it, right? If they want to destroy somebody, you just bring a lawsuit about. It doesn't matter.
I know, it's called lawfare. It's called lawfare. Look what they're doing to Trump. Lawfare, not warfare, lawfare. It's the same thing. Oh, I know how they're working. This is the overreach of federal government, isn't it? Anyway, right. Have we still got this guy, this character? I can't remember his name now. Matthew.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Let's put him out 2 years, please.
Okay, so August the 1st, 2025, 2020. He wants to go 26, 27.
Why does he want to ask him? Why does he want to go 26?
Why do you want to go 26? Because the lawsuit is over at that point.
Okay, we'll let him go to 26, but we'll ask him about what's happening in 25 first.
Okay.
How's the law?
It's a failed suit.
He knows that in 25.
No, he knows that in 26.
All
Don't
right.
forget, he's being paid a lot of money.
I get it. I mean, I know he's being paid and he can drag it on. It doesn't matter. Look, lawyers are like taxi meters. They want it to keep going. There's no problem there. And the lawyer has no comeback because it's not the lawyer. I mean, it's the SEC that are doing this, not this guy, Matthew, or Matt, or whatever his name is. You know, he doesn't care how long the lawsuit goes on. He's billing by hours. You know, he's going to get rich out of this.
Millions.
Of course, millions. So 25, the lawsuit is still ongoing. August?
Yes.
But by August 26, it's not, it's over.
Right.
Did they win or did Richard Hart win?
Who won the lawsuit? Hart.
Okay.
But they destroyed him in the process.
Okay. His
And that's what it's all about.
yeah. Yeah. So they, yeah, I mean, wow.
Just like they tried to destroy Ripple.
Yeah. I know. Is Hex still going? Does he know?
Still in business. I don't think he really pays much attention to that.
Okay.
Let's go CoinGecko.
Yeah.
So
CoinGecko.
August the 1st, 2026, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Is Hex still going? Yes, it's still in business.
What about Pulse Chain, PLS and PLSX?
What about Pulse Chain? Yes, they're still around.
Okay. How's the price been over the last 3 years of Hex? How's the price of Hex been over the last 3 years?
What's the price of Hex? It struggled.
Okay. Did it ever get back to its all-time high?
Did it ever get back to its all-time high? Eventually.
Before 2026?
Before 2026? No.
Oh,
so it
okay.
looks like when the lawsuit is over, that's when it starts, there's a buying frenzy.
Of course. Same with Ripple, exactly the same as what happened with Ripple. Lots of people came back into Ripple after it was declared not a security. All right, let's ask Matthew, the lawyer, when was the lawsuit finally ended? What do we know when in 26?
Around the beginning of 2026.
Okay.
Was it deemed a security? Was Hex or Pulse Chain or any of those deemed a security? No, they knew that from the get-go.
Oh, I know. We know that.
Their only way to get them.
All right, let's hold him there. Put Richard Hart out same time, 2026.
Okay, so he's been through the ringer, but okay, August 1st, 2026, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This lawsuit has cost him billions.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Well, it's cost him not billions in law fees, but probably because all of the products that he holds wealth in has gone down in price, correct?
How does it cost you billions? The price is tanked, the legal fees, the campaign to keep the coin still alive and keep people interested. What about the stakes that have come? Did people, when their stakes end, are they getting their money? Yeah, they're still getting their money.
Has he noticed a lot of people that have ended stakes early in the last 3 years?
Have a lot of people ended stakes early in the last 3 years? Yes, a majority of them.
Wow. Okay, well, that'll make the ones that hold get even more, because some of the stake money, when you end early, goes back into the existing stakeholders. So
right, because they lose money if they end the stake early.
That's right, but some of it comes back into the stakeholders that don't. Yeah, the way the contract works. How does he feel now?
How do you feel now? How do you feel? He's glad it's over, and this is really an exercise to shut him up.
Of course.
He realizes that he now has to be quiet and that he should have been more professional. But he says being professional, that's not what people want. They want to separate themselves from the financial system, from, the government, from all this being bogged down. And people want to see proof of that. They don't want somebody in a suit telling them you should buy this because of this reason. That's not why people got into Hex in the first place. They got into Hex because they wanted to be like Richard Hart.
Right. There's a lot of truth in that, I can tell you. Not that I want to be like Richard Hart, but not in his attitude and his bling and all that lot. But I understood that this was a marketing operation, what he did, and it did appeal to a lot of kids and younger people and stuff like that. But
well, you have to appeal to the younger crowd. The older crowd are not really going into crypto.
They don't really move past Bitcoin if they get into cryptos at all. So, but he made a lot of enemies along the way because he called out everything and everybody, and people didn't like that. So, okay.
And he's, well, okay, but who doesn't? Who doesn't at the top? Who doesn't have a lot of enemies? Zuckerberg, Gates, Musk, Soros. You think that they don't have enemies? The higher you go up the financial ladder, the more enemies you make.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I just saw something in the news the other day. Apparently Elon Musk had put a sign up of, he's rebranding Twitter to X, so he put a big sign up of X above his building or something. And the city council were more concerned about that than they were about all the homelessness and drug abuse and people sleeping rough in the tail. They had to make that the priority. So interesting.
That's what happens when you're at the top. Listen,
people want to knock you down. I know.
We've done this on the manifestation probes, and for those of you that are not on the Patreon, you're not getting a lot of the videos. Okay, the manifestation probes that we've done explains why manifestation is so difficult. When we're looking at the people at the top, which we probed, that they all have this, they all have these problems. They're all getting sued all of the time, sued for this, sued for that, right? It's no wonder
it's one corporate entity taking money from another corporate entity. That's what they do. And
everybody's scrambling for the wealth. Everybody. As we look at these guys, they all, it's always who can take these guys down the fastest? Who's going to be the magic person that can take these guys down? Everything you do is so highly scrutinized because they're looking to take you down. They want to. And the government wants to make a show of you. If they think that you have done something illegal, they will take you down and they will make a big display of it because they don't like people at the top having more power than the government. Their message from the top is more powerful. More people listen to them than they do the government. Nobody cares what the government says, right? Don't do this, don't do that. No, everybody, but these guys at the top, they listen to. And that's why people listen to Richard Hart. Get into crypto. Leave the old money system behind. Here's my Rolex. Here's this. Here's that.
Yeah.
And that's appealing to people.
Well, they don't listen to government because when you only have to switch on mainstream TV and you find out what bribery and corruption and everything all these guys have been involved in are criminal matters. So why would you take in your lead and your guidance from, basically crooks?
Yes.
Right. Can we just go back to Hex a minute and CoinGecko?
Yes, but the people at the top make government seem irrelevant. And if government is irrelevant, then you have a mass population and a threat to that government, right?
Yeah,
That's
well,
what they don't like.
the government never vote for their own demise or downsizing either. They only ever vote for more. Right, go back to CoinGecko, please, and bring it back to the 28th of December 2023. CoinGecko.
Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
From the 1st of August 2023 to today, the 28th of December 2023, in which month was the highest for Hex?
Oh, sorry. Which month was the highest? From August 1st.
August the 1st to the 28th of December, which month, week, or whatever, however we can get it, define it.
Was it August? I feel like it's August.
Really? And then it's downhill all the way after that, or does it really start climbing again in August?
From August. I mean, it just flattens out.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, there's not much more we need to ask. I think most people understand the why, the where, and the therefore of why they're doing what they're doing. Hopefully, Richard Hart will fight this all the way. Unbelievable that this is how they have to treat people who are successful entrepreneurs in America, the land of the free and the brave.
But he's a threat to the system, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. But, unfortunately, everybody's going to make these knee-jerk reactions. There's going to be sell-off. It's just, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
All right. We'll stop this one here.
Okay.